fastest-growing humanitarian crisis as thousands of Rohingya refugees are spending a fourth night stranded near the border with Bangladesh. Hundreds of thousands have left their homes in Myanmar, where they'd faced a military offensive following claims that Rohingya militants were guilty of attacking police checkpoints there.
A bloody crackdown on protests has given rise to an armed struggle against the junta, with more than 1 million.
Myanmar, a country that is filled with rich cultural heritage, natural beauty, and a rich history. However, Myanmar today is facing the cruel reality of political unrest and economic instability. How did Myanmar end up in its current state? This Southeast Asian nation with its rich cultural heritage has faced daunting challenges throughout its history. Whether it is the challenges the country faced during its colonial rule, where the British Empire had a firm grip on former Burma, or the country's turbulent past characterized by the numerous coups from 1962 onwards. This turbulent political nature of Myanmar seems to be upheld even today, with the end of this turbulent period nowhere in sight. And so one must wonder, what lies ahead for Myanmar? Well, make sure to stay tuned, as in today's video, we will look into what is happening in Myanmar.
Be it homemade metal shields etched with the words people, or bamboo stalks, umbrellas, garbage cans filled with bricks. These makeshift street barricades against advancing security forces are sprinkled across Myanmar.
It began as a pro-military march. Thursday, hundreds streamed through downtown Yangon, a rare mass show of support for Myanmar's recent coup. Police on the sidelines as counter-protesters banged pots and pans in anger at the group. But as the crowd neared the city's central railway station, the situation turned violent.
Myanmar, with its rich cultural heritage, has faced daunting challenges throughout its history. Today, as we delve into the complexities of Myanmar's past and present, we uncover a story of a complex political situation filled with a turbulent atmosphere due to the many conflicts that reoccur in this Southeast Asian country. Nested in the heart of Southeast Asia, Myanmar's scenic beauty masks a history marked by upheaval and struggle. The nation's journey, stretching from colonial rule to the current quest for democracy, showcases a people's relentless fight against oppression and their aspiration for a brighter future. Myanmar's narrative connects episodes of triumph and despair, offering a profound insight into the soul of a nation striving against the odds. Myanmar today stands at a critical point, shaped by a past characterized by conflict and a desire for change. To truly understand the current state of affairs, we must go back in history and explore the numerous historical events that have led to today's challenges. In the story of Myanmar, we find a wide variety of historical events that have shaped its present state. Now, before I move on to the next part, as always, I have a tiny favor to ask. Please make sure to like and subscribe, and if you enjoyed the video, share with a friend. I would also like to thank you for the reception on my last video. It really means a lot. Thank you, and I hope you enjoyed the video.
Burma, also known as Myanmar, is a nation born from war. A former British colony, Burma saw an opportunity for independence at the outset of World War II.
In Burma, Independence Day calls for formal celebrations. This week, its people have been marking 64 years since the end of British colonial rule. But for much of that time, Burma was tightly controlled by the military. Any dissent was ultimately crushed.
Myanmar's history since independence in 1948 is a chronicle of military control incorporated with brief periods of democratic governance. The nation's political situation has been marked by post-colonial struggles, internal power dynamics, and the continuous fight for recognition by its diverse ethnic groups. One of the more prevalent ethnic groups that have garnered attention in the past decade are the Rohingya people. The Rohingya people are a stateless Indo-Aryan ethnic group who predominantly follow Islam and reside in the Rakhine state of Myanmar, although during the Rohingya genocide, the vast majority fled to neighboring Bangladesh. The pervasive influence of the military, a legacy of Myanmar's past, remains a formidable obstacle to democratic evolution. The years following Myanmar's break from colonial rule were marked by a succession of military coups, each reinforcing the Tatmadaws' stronghold. The repeated suppression of democratic aspirations has led to an extensive sense of disillusionment among its populace. The military's influence extends across Myanmar's societal and economic spheres, shaping the nation's trajectory. Myanmar's relentless political upheaval has had profound implications for its development. The constant interruption of democratic processes has stifled economic growth, worsening poverty and inequality. The military stronghold has hindered innovation and international investment, leaving Myanmar trailing behind its Southeast Asian neighbors in terms of development. The power struggle in Myanmar surpasses political rivalry, reflecting deeper societal cleavages. The military's governance is marked by opacity, corruption, and a disconnect from the diverse needs of the population. This has fostered a growing sense of alienation among its citizens, fueling the flames of opposition and resistance.
The Constituent Assembly, representing the people of Burma, have decided that Burma's future as an independent country should lie outside the British Commonwealth. We're sorry to think that our long association with Burma as a member of the Commonwealth should now be ending, but this is a matter which is for the decision of the people of Burma, and we accept their decision.
The plight of the Rohingya in Myanmar serves as an illustration of the nation's complicated ethnic dynamics. The military's campaign against this community, condemned internationally as ethnic cleansing, represents one of the gravest humanitarian crises of our time. The persecution of Rohingya transcends mere human rights violations, symbolizing the rooted ethnic tensions within Myanmar. The roots of the crisis lie in historical biases and discriminatory policies that have marginalized the Rohingya for generations. Their lack of legal recognition and statelessness have rendered them vulnerable to exploitation and abuse. The 2017 military offensive, forcing thousands into exile, has drawn global attention to their plight, while also highlighting the complexities of resolving Myanmar's long-standing ethnic conflicts. The international response to the Rohingya crisis has encompassed condemnation, aid, and diplomatic efforts. However, the entangled nature of Myanmar's internal affairs and the military's resistance complicate the quest for a lasting solution. The crisis continues to destabilize the region, testing the international community's commitment to upholding human rights. The Rohingya issue is part of a broader pattern of ethnic strife in Myanmar. The military's often harsh approach towards ethnic minorities has aggravated tensions and perpetuated cycles of violence. In Myanmar's Rohingya crisis, the role of social media, particularly Facebook, has been notably controversial and alarming. The platform, which rapidly grew to become the primary source of information for many in Myanmar, was manipulated by government and military officials to spread hate speech and misinformation against the Rohingya community. Facebook made a deal with cell phone companies where every phone would come preloaded with Facebook. This caused Facebook to spread rapidly across the country, and with that, the hate was spread against the Rohingya on the platform. State actors, leveraging Facebook's widespread reach, disseminated inflammatory content, including false news and dehumanizing propaganda. This systematic use of social media as a tool for spreading ethnic hatred worsened the existing tensions and violence against the Rohingya. The crisis underscored the significant impact of social media on public opinion and communal relations, raising serious concerns about the responsibility of platforms like Facebook in monitoring and controlling the spread of harmful content. It also highlighted the need for greater digital literacy and critical thinking among users to discern misinformation and hate speech in an increasingly interconnected world.
After nearly a decade sharing power with civilians, Myanmar's military staged a coup, setting up checkpoints, taking over TV stations, which played military propaganda, and detaining civilian officials, including their leader, Aung San Suu Kyi. Once seen as a champion of democracy, a Nobel laureate, Suu Kyi spent nearly 15 years in detention before entering a pact with the military.
2021 marked a turning point in Myanmar's journey towards democracy. The military coup by the Tatmadaw was a clear sign of its resistance to relinquish control, abruptly halting the nation's fragile progress towards democratic governance. This power grab set off a chain of events that would deeply impact the country. Following the coup, Myanmar witnessed a surge of protests and civil disobedience. People from diverse backgrounds united in their defiance against the military's rule. Their resolve, however, was met with severe and brutal responses from the military. The reports of indiscriminate violence, arbitrary arrests, and suppression of freedoms echoed across the nation, leading to the formation of various armed resistance groups. This escalation transformed the political struggle into a full-blown civil war, spreading conflict across Myanmar. In response to this chaos, ousted lawmakers and activists established a national unity government. This coalition, representing a wide array of political and ethnic groups, became a beacon of hope for those opposing the junta. It sought international recognition and support, standing as a testament to the resilience of Myanmar's pro-democracy aspirations. This ongoing conflict has brought devastating effects on Myanmar's population. Violence has led to mass displacement, with thousands seeking refuge and safety. The country's economy has been hit hard, with disrupted businesses and destroyed livelihoods. Myanmar now faces a deep humanitarian crisis, urgently needing food, shelter, and medical assistance.
Businesses in Myanmar say the country's economy is on the brink of collapse. Some have seen losses of more than 70% since the military coup, and they believe things will only get worse, as Mei Wong reports.
The economic fallout from the coup and subsequent conflict has been catastrophic for Myanmar. The disruption of normal economic activities, compounded by international sanctions and divestment, triggered a significant economic downturn. This instability deterred foreign investment and exacerbated the country's economic challenges. Healthcare, already stained by the COVID-19 pandemic, has collapsed under the weight of conflict-induced needs. The military's targeting of medical facilities and personnel have left many without essential healthcare services, while the pandemic further complicates the situation. Internationally, responses to the coup have varied. Some countries have imposed sanctions, while others advocate for dialogue and peaceful resolutions. Regional powers and organizations like ASEAN play a crucial role given their proximity and influence over Myanmar. However, the effectiveness of these international responses in facilitating change is uncertain. Addressing Myanmar's economic turmoil is a complex procedure. It goes beyond immediate crisis management and involves implementing comprehensive, long-term reforms. These reforms are critical to reconstructing a stable and inclusive economy, which has been hindered by decades of military mismanagement and poor governance.
Deserted streets around the Sule Pagoda. People in Yangon defiantly showing their support for the silent strike as offices and shops remain closed. Despite warnings from the military, scenes like this were repeated across Myanmar on Wednesday.
Post-coup Myanmar is a nation in chaos and violence. The military's attempts to establish control have been met with fierce resistance, fueling widespread unrest. The junta's efforts to suppress the opposition have only strengthened the resolve of the resistant movement. The formation of armed groups, including the People's Defense Force, signifies a major escalation in the conflict. These groups, engaging in guerrilla warfare, have targeted military infrastructure, signaling deep-rooted opposition to military rule. The military's crackdown has been marked by severe human rights abuses, drawing widespread international condemnation. These actions have deepened the humanitarian crisis and raised serious questions about the potential for a peaceful conflict resolution. Currently, Myanmar's situation remains fluid and uncertain. The military struggles to assert its control, while the resistance movement, demonstrating extraordinary resilience, continues to challenge the junta's authority. The conflict has exacted a severe toll on the country, with no clear resolution in sight.
For the internally displaced people at this camp, it's been the same morning routine for the past 6 years. That was when they fled their homes to escape violence between local fighters and the Myanmar army.
Myanmar's rich ethnic diversity is both a source of cultural wealth and a root cause of conflict. The nation's history is marked by struggles for ethnic autonomy, particularly in border areas. These conflicts stem from the deep-rooted grievances and the central government's historical failure to address ethnic minorities' aspirations. The complex dynamics between the majority of Bamar and numerous ethnic groups have resulted in a complex political landscape. Efforts to establish a federal structure accommodating this diversity have consistently faltered, often due to the military's centralizing tendencies. Resolving these ethnic conflicts is crucial for Myanmar's stability and is a prerequisite for lasting peace. The ethnic aspects of Myanmar's politics also significantly impact its international relations. Neighboring countries, concerned about the spillover effects of these conflicts, are often drawn into Myanmar's internal matters. Effectively, managing these ethnic conflicts requires both national efforts and regional cooperation. Myanmar's strategic position in Southeast Asia makes it a key player in regional geopolitics. Its abundant natural resources such as jade, rubies, and natural gas have attracted foreign investment but have also complicated its internal dynamics. Control over these resources is often intertwined with the country's ethnic conflicts and military politics. China's role in Myanmar is particularly significant. As part of its Belt and Road Initiative, Beijing views Myanmar as a crucial partner and strategic access point to the Indian Ocean. China's relationship with Myanmar is complex, encompassing economic investments, diplomatic ties, and a cautious approach to the country's internal conflicts. The international community's response to Myanmar's situation reflects varying geopolitical interests and strategies. While Western nations favor sanctions and diplomatic pressure, regional powers like China and ASEAN advocate for engagement and dialogue. The diversity of approaches highlights the complexity of addressing Myanmar's challenges on the global stage. Myanmar's geopolitical significance extends to regional security dynamics. Its location, bordering countries like India, China, Thailand, and Bangladesh, makes it a pivotal area for regional stability. The ongoing conflict within Myanmar poses a risk of spillover into neighboring countries, potentially escalating into a broader regional issue. This concern is particularly acute in areas where ethnic conflicts in Myanmar are proximate to borders, as seen with the Rohingya crisis and its impact on Bangladesh. Additionally, Myanmar's internal turmoil provides fertile ground for transnational criminal activities such as drug trafficking and human trafficking, further destabilizing the region. Another crucial aspect of Myanmar's geopolitical significance lies in its potential role in regional economic integration. Myanmar could serve as a bridge between South and Southeast Asia, enhancing connectivity and trade routes under initiatives like the Bay of Bengal Initiative for multi-sectoral technical and economic cooperation. However, the current political instability hinders this potential, deterring regional investments and collaboration. To realize its role as a connector in regional trade, Myanmar needs to establish a stable and predictable political environment conducive to economic partnerships. The future of Myanmar is a matter of both domestic concern and regional stability. The country's trajectory will influence Southeast Asian geopolitics, affecting trade routes, security dynamics, and regional cooperation. The international community's approach to Myanmar will be crucial in shaping the region's future. As Myanmar navigates its current crisis, the path forward is filled with challenges. The military's determination to maintain power starkly contrasts with the people's aspirations for democracy and self-determination. The ongoing conflict has disrupted the social fabric, creating a humanitarian crisis and hindering economic development. The international community's role in Myanmar's future is crucial. Efforts to mediate the conflict, provide humanitarian aid, and support a return to democratic governance are essential. However, the effectiveness of these efforts will depend on a nuanced understanding of Myanmar's complex internal dynamics and the regional geopolitical context. The prospect of a peaceful resolution to Myanmar's crisis remains uncertain as the path to stability and democracy is long and arduous. As Myanmar confronts these challenges, the commitment and collaboration of domestic and international actors will be key to shaping a positive outcome. In conclusion, Myanmar's journey through decades of turmoil, ethnic strife, and the quest for democracy is a narrative of resilience and determination. The country stands at an important dilemma, with its future hinging on resolving deep-seated conflicts and establishing a more inclusive and representative political system. The international community's role in supporting Myanmar's path towards peace and democracy is more critical than ever. As we watch Myanmar's story unfold, the hope for a brighter, more stable future remains, driven by the unbeatable spirit of its people and the collective efforts of the global community. Thank you for watching today's video. If you enjoyed, please make sure to like and subscribe, and also leave a comment on what other country you would like me to discuss next. Thank you, and I'll see you next time.